Welcome to Occasionally Posh, where we enjoy life, laughs, and shenanigans. I am your girl, Chassie B.
And I'm Sunshine. And this is the last time she's going first. Welcome to Occasionally Posh. Gets on my nerves. I can't. But welcome to another episode of Occasionally Posh. We're going to jump right in. We do have a guest this week. It's kind of been our new thing to have guests on. And we're going to let her introduce herself in a few minutes. But we always start with a foreplay. And Chassie, be your first.
Okay, so you know how like whenever you have your little depression stage and you're either sleeping a lot or crying a lot or angry or whatever. So if you had a choice, would you rather be angry or crying?
Okay, so I would say angry. Why? Because I can channel that energy to actually like move forward, to achieve some things. I feel like when you're crying, it puts you more in a rump where you just don't want to do anything. You don't want to be around people. So yeah, I would go with angry.
How about you, Sunshine?
I don't know. I can't operate either way. So it's hard to answer.
That's the whole way. Like, let me find a positive somewhere in there somewhere.
At least if I'm crying, well, I don't know. That's probably my pride talking. But at least if I'm in a place where I'm at my low point and I'm crying, it's to myself, So I can cry, get it out, scream into a pillow, hit a wall, whatever I need to do. Then I can get myself together and go about my business. But if somebody makes me angry,
right,
I don't know. It's hard to come back. It's hard to come back. So I guess I take the crying. Yeah.
I take the crying too because whenever I'm having my down days, and I'll get into bed and I will honestly look for something sad to watch. For some reason, crying makes me work through my emotions. I guess I just cry out everything that needs to be cried out, and I just work through my emotions and then pop up and be good.
Okay. I guess I'll be the angry one.
But I don't know. When I'm angry, sometimes I clean up real good when I'm angry.
I'm about to say,
you just got to get some things done.
I was gonna say, if you get me to a certain anger, I'm crying anyway, so it don't really matter.
Right.
Chastity, no, she done told me to suck it up a few times. Okay, a few times.
This is true. And I'm a crybaby. And when I tell you to suck it up, then it's time to suck it up.
Exactly.
Facts. Okay, I'm gonna go old school and go back to what we used to do, which is a pick one, or one must go, excuse me. So I seen this one on Facebook, but a lot of people actually was able to answer this easier than I was for some reason. So I'm gonna share it and let you guys do it. So one must go. Jamie Foxx show, Martin, Family Matters, or Prince of Bel-Air.
I know Family Matters ain't going nowhere. Okay.
Look at chances. I think she go pick Family Matters. Good.
No, I think I'm actually gonna pick Jamie Foxx show. I like that show, but out of all of them, if Jamie Foxx and either one of those shows was like on in the middle of the night, I would probably choose the other show over Jamie Foxx.
Right.
I'm with you on that one. I second that. Jamie Foxx show would definitely have to go.
Yeah. Which one you choose?
Yeah. at the end of the day, I choose Jamie Foxx as well, and a lot of people in the post chose that show. But it was just like people were saying it was a no-brainer. And I'm like, it ain't really a no-brainer per se, but if I had to break it down, then yes, that's be the one that I choose, if that makes sense. I thought they was all good shows.
Yeah, but I guess I don't think Jamie Foxx really had, well, Martin didn't really teach us nothing either.
Right. Besides, have friends that are beneath you. That's pretty much what it was. All of his friends were not at his level.
That's true.
I ain't never thought about it like
that.
that.
That's very true. That's interesting.
So yeah, you definitely got to pick. I know a lot of people will probably pick Martin to stay first, but I feel like the two family shows, we need that Black representation for real. So
absolutely,
you got to keep that. You got to keep that. And they wanted a lot of the Black shows even now have been tainted, like the Cosby Show. Even though the Cosby Show was still amazing, but a lot of people threw it away because of what happened
with Bill. Yeah.
But these two shows still live on to be pretty positive. Man, that scene where Will Smith cried and said, "Well, my daddy won't be done."
Still touches my soul.
Done.
That thing still touched me.
That was deep. Yeah.
It was. And like that was like that cry was like real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it was ooh.
Absolutely. He did a video, I think, after showing how he had to go deep down and channel that for real because he had father issues. Right? So yeah. And I felt that because I have the same thing. Like, what's the problem?
Right.
My dad was in my life, even though my parents weren't married, but I've always had him. So I don't know how it is to not have a dad, but I had a son that grew up without one for a while.
Yeah.
And single motherhood is not easy. We need them fathers, okay?
We do. As much as we want to say that we don't, we definitely do, need them. Absolutely. Right. They are a major part of their children's life, definitely for women and men. Major part.
Yeah.
Right.
I watched a lot of videos where I hear the men make discouraging comments about how they go after women with father issues because it's easier to kind of get in. Yeah, to date them, or not be as serious.
I mean,
that makes sense.
That's a weak man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly, man. Lord. Well, we ain't gonna jump in without letting you introduce yourself first. So you go for it.
Well, hello, guys. My name is Regina Morty. I am the owner of Attractive Minds, Love and Respect, where I offer spiritual advice and spiritual counseling about your life, your career, your past trauma, healing process. And I also have a YouTube channel where I just give good spiritual advice on life.
Right.
Oh, and my Facebook, Ifoma Morty. I have also a Facebook for Attractive Minds, Love and Respect. Instagram, spiritual_goddess with 3 S's. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, website, www.attractiveminds.lr.com.
We'll get all that as well at the end. Sunshine to put all that.
Yeah. I got you. But when I
share, get it on in there.
Right. When I shared you with Chassie, because of course we met on Clubhouse, and I was like, please, she's so positive. I love her spirit. Check out her videos. The video that Chassie really went on is how to unlock relationship doors. Which we thought were really good and is a topic, especially in our communities, that need to be continuously discussed.
Every day.
Yeah. So something you said in your video kind of triggered a question for me. And it is, what are the differences between expectations and standards?
So with your expectations is something that you are just feeling like you're not breaking or bounding to. This is what I want. This is how I want it. You either meet it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
A standard is something where you kind of bring along with you as you go on or grow up through life. And it's like, well, for an example, I don't date a man that's under 5'10" feet, under 6 feet tall. And that's something that became a standard. Why? Because her dad may be, or her uncles or whatever, and she might just feel like she needs to look up towards someone. That's more of like a standard.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say expectations can be broken, and standards are something more that is a must.
Mm. So why do you think those two definitions, or those two life, whatever, I'm sorry, y'all. Why do you think people mix those up, and what do you think the problem is?
Because they're feeling like it's one combination. Number one, because it's how they feel. It's their wants, it's their desires, it's their needs. They're not willing to kind of, I'm looking for the right word. They're not looking to kind of lay aside some things. Is more nowadays, people is more so like, is my way or the highway? So
Right.
with that, they're jumbling the standards and the expectations all in one bowl. So
Right.
What was the question again?
Wow.
Why do people why do people combine and mix it up? But I actually I agree with that, because I think even I have an issue with separating both of them. And I didn't even think that I did until you said what you said. And I was like, I do that often, quite often, more than I probably should. Now I got to try to figure out how to be able to separate my standards from my expectations.
Kind of like, what's realistic and what's
right.
What can I tolerate? What can I tolerate? So like one couple I was talking to, she felt like she had an expectation of my man should automatically know how I feel, what I'm thinking. If my body language changed, he should know. That's an expectation that she did not express to him. So whenever he didn't respond to her body language, it became a problem. But it's like, did you express that?
But how do you expect somebody to be able to understand every body language?
Oh, I don't know, but that was her expectation. I don't know.
I mean, I can kind of see it, because I ain't gonna never say I ain't been mad at my husband or he done something that was aggravating, and I kind of act a certain way, and I be like, he should know that I'm acting like something wrong. I ain't gonna say I ain't never done that. Now, is that something that's a key to me getting into a relationship? No, but I mean, I can see where it would come from.
After so long of being together.
Right. But even then, they still ain't gonna read you sometime the way you want. Men and women just think differently at the end of the day.
Because whenever a woman say, I'm fine, we are not fine.
No, we're not.
Right.
We're not. We're just saying, just chill in that moment and we'll discuss it later.
Right. Leave it alone right to now. I don't want to go into that.
Let's say something
else.
Excuse me.
So we were talking about men and women being so different. Why do we ask this question a lot just to get different points of views, but why do you think it's so hard for men and women to communicate?
Man, it's just really all about number one is based off of how you're brought up. Some people were silenced as a child. So when they're silenced, they have a hard time communicating. They feel like my actions is me communicating. and them just verbally having a conversation back and forth and then trying to comprehend, that's a hard thing to do when you're used to being silenced and saying that you don't have a voice, you know, growing up. And when I say not having a voice is you're not probably being able to communicate with your parents. They're not listening to you. They, you know, they just kind of bombard what you say. And it's just like, you know, as if you're not being heard. Those people have difficult times communicating in relationships. I will also say women are more in depth with their emotions. Some women or some guys are too, but they have went through some things to kind of tap into that vulnerability to understand women's emotions, to communicate with them on that level, you know? So I would definitely say it's difficult because because of the past trauma in life. That's why it's difficult. And just not trusting that whatever you're saying is being heard. You have doubts within self. You don't trust self to even speak your truth.
Right. Mm-hmm. Those past traumas is strong. We discuss traumas, childhood traumas a lot on here.
It carries as adults.
Mm-hmm. It does. And I don't think that people realize how much their childhood affects them as adults, and the way that we communicate, like you said, the way that we communicate, the way that we handle things. I even think about like my failed relationships. And I think that it has a lot to do with how I was raised as a child. It wasn't like I went through anything traumatic or anything really bad, but I think that sometimes the way that my mama handled things was too easy going on my daddy. And I'm a little bit harder than she was, but then I'm also easygoing.
And you created that defense mechanism because you felt like that was weak in your eyes.
Right.
Like you just allow people to just walk over you like that. I'm not gonna
right. Be like and then I also got her nurturing spirit where I nurture the hell out of people. And
because that's who you are.
Sunshine be getting after me. She's like, "You crazy." I'm like, "I know."
I'm pretty nice.
I'm still loving it though.
She takes it to another level.
Okay, I'm pretty nice.
But she take it to another level sometimes.
I do.
That's all that built up anger, right? All that built up stuff you're not dealing with.
Wow. You know what? That could be it.
That could be it too. But I mean, I'm talking about as far as she try to be, me and her both had that spirit of wanting to help others. So we both have that. But I learned a long time ago where to draw the line. For the most part, I mean, I still struggle because, you know, I can't help myself. But I learned a little bit better how to draw the line in the saying. She keep giving people chance. At the chance. At the chance.
Be like, girl, you don't chop the legs off.
my line don't go straight down. It's kind of wavy like this.
I am the same way, Chastity. I feel you. I'm the same way. It's the heart, girl. It's the heart. You be like, I see the good in people.
I know. And sometimes I actually hate that about myself. That I see the good in people. I could probably get along with the devil if I'm being honest, because I'm going to find one little thing and I'm like, you know what? He's not that bad. Everybody else is going to be like, yes, he is. I'm like, but you know, he likes roses. Like, that's really nice. I'm going to try to get people on his side. And I hate that about myself.
And that's a beautiful part of you too. It is.
If you say so.
I feel you. Look, you know, back in the day, I used to practice to be like, give me a cold heart, because I was just so gullible. I feel you.
So also in your video, you mentioned something about a communication key. So can you explain what a communication key is and how can people find it?
So I think in that moment I was speaking about a bag of keys, a bag of tools, I think. When I was speaking about the communication key. Oh, well, digging for the communication key is just digging for like removing the ego, removing the pride, finding the acknowledgement and the truth of what the other person is saying. Take yourself out of the situation to truly hear and comprehend what they're trying to say. And I think that you will be able to gain access to the key.
That's a lot of layers.
It's pretty much like just let your guard down.
Let your guard
pretty
down.
Much.
And that's why it's hard for some people to truly, really communicate, because they don't trust the person they're communicating with, you know, because they feel like, okay, this person gonna have some shots coming back at me, so I gotta be on guard. I have to be ready to be able to tell them how I truly feel. I'm gonna check everything they say. And that's not a person that you need to even be in a relationship with, let alone an entanglement with, because you can't even communicate with that person because you don't trust them with your heart. You can't say, here's my heart, give it to you. I'm going to give it to you and I trust you to hold it. You know that they're not going to hold it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why you have your guns blazing when you communicate. And then if you can't shed those layers of removing the pride, removing the ego, and just being completely naked in front of a person, how do you expect to even allow them to truly see you, to communicate functionally, you know?
Right.
That's true. I think I struggle with communication. Look, you just calling me out today. But
your turn.
So like I'm really good with communicating sometimes. And then other times I think like whenever I really, really like somebody, I shut down and I don't know how to communicate then.
You know why?
Fear.
Yes. and do you know why?
I don't know.
Of that fear? Because I don't think as like in your growing up, you were ever seen, truly seen. So you don't allow anyone to truly see you. That's why that fear comes up and that wall appears.
That's somewhat true. So I say like my family, they were really good. I ain't gonna talk bad about them. But I am, even though I don't look dark skinned sometimes on camera, I am like one of the darkest people in my family besides my daddy and my uncle. Everybody else is light skinned. And then and I never thought that it really bothered me until I got older. And then as I got older and I went to college, I remember going to college and all of my friends were high yellow, light skin, red bones, whatever you want to call it. And we would go out and these guys, they would come up and they would instantly try to talk to them because, you know, light skin is beautiful to people. And that's what they thought was who they wanted to talk to. And then like after they get to know them or we all hanging around each other, they be like, yo, you pretty cool. I wish I'd have met you before I met her. And I'm like, you did, but you saw her color. You didn't see me because all you saw was my brown skin. You saw her yellow skin. And that was what attracted you. And so I think that is, I agree with what you said.
Yes, ma'am. And you know, like I always say, you don't have to take the entire message. Just take what's for you. You know? Yeah. So yes, ma'am.
Yeah, God had revealed to me a long time ago that I allow fear to be my comfort zone.
Mine's too.
And it's not supposed to be. Fear is not supposed to be comfortable.
It's not.
And it's not when you living in it, of course. But after a while, you live in it so long that that's all you know. That's all you know.
Yeah. Yes. That is so true. And growing up, I used to, like, whenever things got good, I'm like, what the hell going on? Something wrong with this picture. That's how I used to be, a pessimist. I'm like, this is too good to be true. What is coming next? And I used to prepare myself to not enjoy the good because I knew that it wasn't going to last long. That's self-sabotage.
Yeah. I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm still guilty of it. I would go through a whole self-sabotage event. Like, I will do a whole year, century event while I'm in the shower. I'm like, ooh, and then this is gonna happen, and then this is gonna happen.
You over there just manifesting all the bad things. Just speaking and putting it out there in the universe.
I gotta get it together. I gotta stop.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't realize how powerful our words are.
Oh my goodness.
We hear that in church, of course, growing up, but when you get older and you start living it, like, I try so hard now to be more positive. I still human, of course, so I use that word can't.
And those negative,
I use that word can't. Right, I can't do this. I ain't got time. Like, but now I find myself shaking out of it way quicker than I used to. I might be negative about 2.2 seconds. But I'm like, no, but I thought I could do this. I didn't think I could raise a child by myself, but he was fed, clothed, bathed, roof over his head. Like, I didn't think I could finish my associate's degree, but I did. I didn't think I would be working a job or making the money that I am, and I am. So he'll get you there. You just got to believe in it. You gotta be positive. You gotta look, and then even when you're in those moments and you look back and you be like, man, I thought I couldn't do it, but I did. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. Because we have those moments where we are down on ourselves and we just like, how am I supposed to put this foot in front of this other foot? It's hard to move this foot. This foot stuck. It'd be like it. I have those moments where I just sit and I look at my past and I sit in the moments of where I'm at. I just look around and I see my children of how big they are and the things that, and the material things that I have as well. And the spiritual tools that I have. And I just be like, man, I would never imagine that I would be here in this moment like this because of how it started. How it started, you couldn't tell me I'll be like this right here, right now.
Right. That's why I always whenever I see like people going through it on Facebook and they have like their little sob story up there. Well, their story, I'm gonna say sob story, their story. And they're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. And I'm like, you're gonna get through it. There's rainbows at the end of this storm. And then I think about it, I'm like, I didn't want to hear that when I was going through my storm. But then I think about the fact, like, I went through the storm and here I am. Like, so I'll be wanting people like, you here, honey. But in 5 years, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I was there, but I am here now.
That's right. That is a true statement. You don't want to hear it, but it's the true statement.
Hey, you don't want to hear it in a moment.
It's a true statement.
Like, this helpful.
I know they probably like, girls.
I just called to tell you. Here she go again with this. Okay, I know.
Yeah.
Just roll out. They're like, you're gonna get through this. It's fine. There's gonna be a rainbow at the end of the storm. They're like, okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, y'all.
Girl, you better get your life together.
Look, you was talking about you yawning. I'm over here yawning.
Exactly.
So you mentioned something about, I don't know if you mentioned this or I might have dreamed it, but I think you had mentioned something about how people handle relationships and how that kind of correlates with other areas of your life.
Friendship. Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just make sure. She's like, I did. Oh, okay. Girl,
because with those videos, the spirit is taking over, girl. I go back and watch them and be like, I said that.
So explain it to people. How does that way they handle relationships kind of correlate with how they handle friends, how they handle coworkers, how they handle their kids, church members, whoever? Kind of bring it together for them.
Just like when you spoke about the key of communication, that also goes with your friends and your family. Also with setting boundaries, that goes in your relationship, your family and your friends, co-workers. It's just pretty much saying that this is who I am with you, with you, with you. And I know that I am this one person, but I'm dealing with these many different personalities. And y'all all think different, y'all act different, y'all move different. I need for you to know exactly how each individually you guys need to handle me.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to give you these set of boundaries. I'm going to let you know that you can communicate with me in this way and you can't communicate with me in this way. And they're all going to be different for each individual person because people operate, you know, different. Some people may not need as many boundaries as the other, you know, but in order to have a healthy and a successful friendship, relationship, you have to tell them exactly what you kind of expect out of them, which goes to expectations. Expectations may not be necessary for a relationship because you are allowing yourself to be free, kind of see where it goes. But when you have a steady relationship, like with a cousin or a co-worker, you already know that you already kind of have an alignment as in how it can go, where it can go, how far it can go, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, so I expect for you to be honest and be fair to me and come to me if you have an issue. Don't go to Susie and Mary around the corner. Come talk to me. You know? So I feel like definitely with family that it's so important to reintroduce yourself as into what you expect out of them, because they will be the ones to step and stump over you first before friends, you know? And even with friends, that you just really need to let them know, like, I'm here, I am open, but I do have boundaries. I there is a cutoff time, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that seems like it would not be easier. Easier probably is not the correct terminology, but maybe a little bit more comfortable of a conversation to have with friends, with your relationship, with your family. But for me, it's kind of hard to find where I can have that conversation in a work environment, because I feel like A, it's either not going to be received and they think I'm just being too emotional, or or B, I got to watch what I say and I really need you to know how I feel. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, and you know, when it comes to work, you could just kind of be on the fence, like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep my feelings and my emotions to myself, and I'm gonna speak whenever I need be, you know, and just be like, well, as long as things go copacetic and there's no issues, then I don't need to say anything. Definitely, if you're not having a relationship with the coworker outside of work, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know, I think our Caucasian counterparts, they're able to speak their mind more than us angry Black women. And I think that's why a lot of times we be scared to say stuff at work, because we're scared to be perceived as the angry Black woman. Because I've seen you know, white people gonna be like, hey, you know, I don't like this. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't like it either, but I would have never said that.
But why can't we say that?
Right.
Why can't we say it like that?
Right. It's not fair. It's a double standard.
Definitely
but we already know.
Definitely a double standard.
It is, and what
makes
but
it... me, I don't.
Go ahead.
I have a business of telling how I feel, because if I don't, it sits in my stomach and it gets to turning, and then I don't feel right.
Right. And then start being miserable at the job. And like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
I don't have.
I'm
I had a
3 to 5.
situation where I had something happen within a coworker, and it wasn't. It was just words that was. It was trigger words for someone to say that something about something that you did as a Black woman in a job environment. Like I don't think she meant it the way she said it, but the word attacked was used. Like I verbally attacked her.
Yeah.
And girl, when I tell
Yeah,
you
you
that
gotta
took
be
me to
careful
the
too.
other level. I like,
You
whoa.
went to the left, buddy. You was like,
Whoa,
Listen,
it was nowhere near attack. You hear me? Nowhere near. Trust me, I ain't attacking. Trust me.
Now
you would
listen,
know.
at that time, me and Sunshine was co-workers. We was working together. And that was that time that I was that person that got along with everyone.
Yes.
And that's what you start to tell her, get it together. Get it together. But that sister, woo!
And I could
She
not win. She was one of them people I could not win with. If I didn't talk to her, I was ignoring her. I was treating her wrong. I wasn't being rightful in the workplace.
Ooh.
If I talked to her, I would say it wrong. Like it was no matter what I did, it was wrong.
Projecting on you, girl. Lord.
It was wrong. And girl, when I say, honey, my boss would just say, Shadana. You can't control what others do. You can only control you.
Yes. She ain't seen attack.
Right. Right. Because I felt like Shadana was she handled everything really well, even on her really upset days when she was in there crying. I'd be like, look, get it together. Get it together.
I ain't never want to hurt choke a coworker so bad in my life. You just woo.
Yeah, when it get that bad, you got to think about, do I really need this job?
Well, listen, the lady ended up leaving anyway.
She did.
Yeah, exactly. Because she just was a shit starter.
Right. And was. And look, that last day, they threw a going away party for her.
They was excited.
No, look, me and Sunshine, we didn't go to the party. And they kept saying, y'all come on. We was like, we good.
I ain't in the business to be a fake. I'm not.
That's it.
I can't do it. My energy ain't gonna be right.
No.
I was told my energy ain't gonna be right. I need to stay away. Okay. My energy was not gonna be right.
It's like, we got her a card. You want to sign it? Nope. Sure don't. Because if I sign it, it's gonna be some choice words on there.
It's gonna say, don't let the doorknob hit you, but God's you.
Honey. Hello, I am so glad you figured out you don't belong here. Have a nice life.
Okay. It was good not knowing you.
Ooh, honey. Well, let's get back.
Bring it back.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. So you mentioned this earlier, and I'm glad you didn't jump on it because I had it as a question. So I was like, "Ooh, she touching it. Don't touch it yet. Don't touch it yet." But you referenced Genesis 2:24 and said that if men are supposed to leave home with tools, you said that men are supposed to have tools when they leave home about how to live life, blah, blah, blah. I want you to explain it. But my question from that was, how do you grow? If you leave home with no tools, how do you grow? What do you do with missing?
You grow.
What do you do with them? How do you find them missing tools? How you find them?
Girl, along the way. I say, look, so for those who are unfortunate to leave the home without a bag or with tools, they have to go through shifts in their life on their journey where they have to pick up a key each time they complete something, each time they complete a lesson. Sometimes it may take them a whole 2 to 3 cycles to get one key because they keep repeating the same lesson that they ain't learning from. So there's things. So when you leave the house with the bag, it's because these things have been instilled in you from your parents. You know, knowing how to love, show love, receive love, knowing how to communicate, knowing how to receive, knowing how to comprehend, knowing how to, set a foundation, or knowing what a family looks like. All of those things are in the bag of tools once you leave that foundation of with your parents and go and start something else. And for those people that just don't have that, they just find those things along the way from the lessons that God gives them, to build them for that life that's going to be that they're going to be destined for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think where we
what do you do whenever they don't pick up the tools?
Go ahead. This delay, I think.
We said what they do when you don't pick up the tools?
When they ain't picking up none of them tools. They're just leaving them all there.
They just picking up what they want.
They got them play tools,
and that's just
the play bench.
Laziness. Because let me tell you something. When you go through transformation, you being shedded, honey. You being shed, honey. Whenever you're being shed, that's a lot of work. It's hard work, and it's not a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you come out of it, yes. But in the midst of it, you feel so weak. You feel so vulnerable. You don't feel yourself. And most people don't like to feel that. So they leave those keys there because they like, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
And they stuck. They stuck in the same realm. That's why they keep doing the same thing with the same people. It's, they just stuck.
I know somebody like that.
I think a lot of the problem is they don't want to recognize that they don't have the tools. You ain't even got the tool belt.
Oh,
that. Yeah, especially men's, and I can only speak from my experience. It probably women the same, but for me, especially men, they'll say, "Ain't nothing wrong with me," or "I got it," or "I got it handled," or "I'm all right. I don't need therapy. I can do it. I'm good." And we like,
and you know why?
Call the lady, men. Call the lady.
And you know why? It's because the most thing that they received from whoever, wherever, is ego. They full of ego.
And audacity.
And my thing is that if you full of ego, then how are you allowing, who's leading your house? Because it ain't God. You understand? Because God don't deal with egotistical people. If your ego is so loud, you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable, which means you're not in the presence of Him. So who's leading your household?
You better preach.
And that type of stuff be like, and when let me get a little personal, okay? So when my household, there was shedding and parts being broken on both parts, growing being done on both ends. A lot of keys and stuff were found in the midst of us walking together. He came with a half bag of tools. I came half built, if that makes sense. And as we found each other, is when we were able to walk down the path and see the light and say, okay, I want to take off these layers of clothes. But once we got to a certain part, it became more difficult because that ego, you understand? With that man felt like the ego is what makes them a man. So I can't drop that because then I'm not manly. And then that's where the conflict come in at with the woman, because if you're egotistical and she's vulnerable, you're not hearing her. Then the communication is not there because you're not comprehending because you're pride. So girl,
that clip, that right there. You need to cut that and make that into its own separate clip.
Right. It's so true though. It's so true. A lot of us are broken on both ends, but we too busy with that. We got that little shaker, a little mix shaker. You put a little ego in it, put a little pride in it, put a little I'ma blame him, put a little I'ma blame her. And we put it in there and shake it up. But one problem is we shaking it up and it ain't got no lid on it.
All right.
It's just going everywhere.
Going everywhere. Hotmess.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And that's
self-reflection is number one.
That self-reflection is hard though. Now, most people don't want to look at themselves and say, you wrong. Tell yourself you wrong. You could have done better. You know you shouldn't have said this. Mm-hmm. Because what they're going to always say is, well, that person did this, or that person said this, or he shouldn't have done that. They want to say, well, this person made me do this. Mm-hmm. But in the spirit, he don't care what someone made you do. Because at the end of the day, those things were in place to test you.
All right. That's true.
You gonna keep failing the test?
I remember when me and my baby daddy had first like separated or whatever. And I used to blame him about everything. I was like, it was his fault. It was his fault. It was his fault. But then as I done grew and I done got wiser, I was like, I had no business being in that relationship in the first damn place at all. And it was both of our faults. We had no business being together at all whatsoever. But I should have known better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So now I'll be like, we didn't work out. We both we had our good, we had our bad. We didn't do anything that was like too bad to each other. We just wasn't meant to be together.
Yeah,
and but I had to realize that. And I was like, I was just trying to rush into stuff. And I thought about this the other day. This is crazy. I thought about this the other day, and I was thinking that whenever me and him got together, all of my friends had boyfriends. So I was bored.
Wow.
Because all of them was booed up.
That's a very feeling.
Bottom, boot up.
And then I was like, that was real selfish. But that was really selfish.
Yeah.
Like now that I think about it, it was really selfish. My selfishness got me two beautiful boys, but it was selfish.
Yeah.
And I had to figure that out on my own, that I had no business even doing that. I should have found me some old friends that wasn't booed up.
Okay.
Either that or just stick around and learn some lessons.
Right. Exactly.
Trust me, it's always a lesson. Okay.
Always.
But I wouldn't change it for nothing though. Everything that we went through, I wouldn't change it. I mean, I'm where I am now because of that relationship, because I had two boys that made me grow up.
Right.
I know that's right. I feel you on that one.
That goes back to women dating potential. And you can look at that from both angles. Sometimes we date potential because we want this. We think we can make this man or help this man grow into that. But sometimes we just date potential of, I can potentially get married because I'm potentially in this relationship.
Do you know what potential means?
You want me to Google it?
Potential means, well, what's that song? Was it 5 Heartbeats? Is it 5 Heartbeats? Where it say you ain't gonna get it because you just ain't got it?
Yeah.
That's what potential is. You just ain't gonna get it. You ain't got it, not yet. It's like, but you got potential though.
Right.
That's what that is. And it's like and I've done it. I've done it where I'm like, he got so much potential, and be like, what the hell?
Honey,
what the potential at? The potential gone.
But then we be mad at them. Like it was their fault.
Yeah. And we gotta be mad at ourselves for even acting on the damn potential.
Honey, that was y'all. It's like a job being mad that you don't know how to work a computer and it ain't on your resume. Like I ain't never told you I can turn the thing on. You just
I don't know how to use Excel. What you talking about, Excel? Exhale? Wait until exhale?
Well, it said right here that you have computer experience, software issues.
That's that good on paper. That's that good on paper.
Oh man, they had software issues, like.
Exactly. Girl, that doggone potential get you in some trouble for real.
Honey.
That potential will get you in trouble.
Facts.
Hey, you somewhat stuck.
Honey.
Right. Like a puppy, like a dog in heat.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Like, what I done got myself into now?
I mean, if you at a job and they go ahead and take you on for your potential because you in college and blase, guess what? If you don't graduate, what they gonna do?
Mm-hmm. Let
your butt go.
and look, nowadays they don't even hire you off your potential. If you ain't got it, you ain't getting it.
Right.
About that.
It's been rough in these streets. I put in 576 applications in 1 week.
Woo!
No, it wasn't that many, but I promise you, like from the time my eyes opened until the time my eyes closed, I was putting in applications, and I was like, everybody saying everybody hiring, but ain't nobody hiring because ain't nobody calling me. And then all of a sudden,
that's all I've been hearing too. But everyone's having a hard time.
Right. Yeah. Yes, it's rough.
Everybody. Right. All right, so one last question. We getting on these shenanigans a lot. So what steps should men and women take or work on before deciding to seriously date?
I say therapy.
Yes.
Therapy is real and it helps out. I grew up where therapy wasn't talked about. It wasn't something that was normal, but I had to go to therapy as an adult to heal from some past things. And I would say it tremendously helps because it gets through those uncomfortable moments, those uncomfortable conversations, those uncomfortable thoughts that are not said out loud, can be said in their moment. That way you can make a decision. Is this really what I want to do? Because definitely before marriage, because when you make that step of crossing that bridge, no one really explains the difficulty in maintaining a relationship. It's a very hard job that you want to quit every day. If not every day, once a week. If not once a week, twice a month.
Right.
Or every hour.
Okay. Okay.
You might have a problem. No.
Right, and the benefits may be good, they may not be good, but there's and then when you're in a long term, when you're looking for longevity, the people that are in the relationship are going to be changing and shifting at different times, which means the attraction, the intimacy, the love can also be shifted as well.
Yeah.
Do you have what it takes to still maintain and be planted while this person is going through and you're standing strong? Do you have the strength to pick up this person while they're weak as you're strong? Like it's a lot that people don't talk about when it comes to relationships. They don't teach you and school you on how to maintain something successful. And it's not even mean successful as something good, just something to keep together.
Right.
If that makes sense. They don't talk about that.
No,
so I think counseling is something that is needed before before signing that contract, because it's going to be difficult getting out of that contract.
Right. Yeah. You want to know something? I think that this is kind of on subject, but kind of off subject. Sorry, y'all. Sorry about the noise in the background. Okay, so before couples get married, they tend to go to therapy, but therapy is with their pastor, and it's usually somebody that knows both of them. I feel like they should probably change that to somebody that does not know them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I say that because I've experienced that. When you go to someone you know, you're not completely being honest, because you don't want that person to know a lot about you.
Right.
Yeah,
I've seen it. you know,
especially in the church
so
community.
definitely your pastor,
Right.
You don't know if the pastor looking at you with that eye. I see it.
Right.
You know,
right.
But they should honestly reconsider that. Like, that's kind of crazy because you don't want to tell pastor like, yeah, she drinks 7 days a week, and that's like, I don't like her because of that. You don't want to tell the pastor that.
That is so true. That is so true.
You don't want to tell the pastor either. I mean, the sex is good, but he ain't breaking the back break. Like, breaking. I need the break. No,
he ain't hitting them corners. Them corners being missed, okay? That is so freaking true. That's so true. And that, like, man, that needs to be talked about as well. Like, premarital counseling doesn't need to be by pastor. It needs to be by a complete separate therapist, so you can get, or even just non-biased. There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't think of that word for some reason. Bias was so out of my mind.
Non-biased. Right. Because a lot of them, I mean, hopefully a lot of them, hopefully they're going to be honest and truthful with you, but I can see their judgment being cloudy because they're rooting for you too.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you're no longer living in sin. So
yeah. They're trying to figure out
what to get you right.
You don't know my
so
life.
True.
Nah.
Y'all are being messy on here. Y'all being messy.
Always. Occasionally posh. It's an accurate title. Okay. Accurate.
Look, the posh is down here.
Occasionally. Chaz, I want to ask you the same question from a single perspective. What was the question? I forgot. What should men and women do, or how should let me get it? What steps should men and women take or work on before deciding to date seriously? So, what do you think that a lot of men and women are not doing, to prepare themselves for dating seriously?
Outside of therapy, I think falling back in love with themselves, which is something that I had said previous. I think a lot of the times whenever you go into relationships, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a job, or whatever, you jump, and you never just get back centered with yourself, and you never start back loving yourself. And I think you just need that break in between everything, just to recenter, refocus, get back to what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, and then try to move forward.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's definitely needed within a relationship.
I would say be way more honest with yourself and have way more honest conversations.
That part.
So a lot of times when we date, we sweep things under the rug that's going to be a problem in the future.
Yes.
But we in love and we like, oh, it ain't, we tell ourselves, oh, it ain't that big of a deal, or it don't matter. Or maybe he'll change. He got the potential to change, or she got the potential to change. And then you 10 years in or 12 years in, maybe not even that long, when you feel like, I really don't like this about you. I really don't. But who can you be mad at?
Yeah, just said, you got to be mad at. But who do we be mad at? The other person.
Yeah. We be mad at them for not owning up to what they should be in our head.
Yes. Honest conversation. That's the fact. I tell people, I get asked when I say I get asked marriage advice. This first thing, man, I tell date 2. I done said this plenty of time on the podcast, but date number 2 or 3. So how you handle your finances? What you feel about money? Do you feel like you should have a savings? How you think children should be raised? What do you? How often do you think we should have sex? How long do you think we need to date before we get married? Everything. I mean, to the nitty gritty. All that lovey-dovey romantic kissing, that's only gonna last a little spell sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes you ain't gonna be nowhere near that little spell, kissing, hugging, and whatever.
Get out the lusty spell. Get out the lusty spell.
I know he throwing your back out, but are you gonna have a bed at the end of the day for that back? That's what you need to be finding.
I'm trying to tell you.
Do we have a queen size that's sitting up high, or is it a queen size air mattress? Like, I need to know.
Right.
Is our rent gonna be $5 or is it gonna be $1,000? I need to know. Like,
okay.
That part.
OMG, yes, absolutely. That is all the truth. All of it.
It is. Some people like that sound like an interview.
Well,
yes, though.
I need to
should be.
To
I
see
actually,
if I want in my life.
Right. I saw, I think it was TikTok. This girl had a Tinder account, and she actually had a list of questions that people had to fill out. I think it was Tinder. But anyway, they fill out the questionnaire, and then they send her their response, and then she bases their responses off of whether or not she will talk to them.
That's good.
It is. And I was like, I never thought about doing that. But then I feel like some people lie.
Some people lie, but
I need to see you in your eyes. I need to see.
But she also clears the path of the people wasting her time because they ain't gonna fill it out.
Right.
I don't know. There's some men out there that'll fill it out. I don't know about that. There's some men in
be like, I got time today.
It look good on paper. On paper, they be an A+, and then you meet them like, this right here is a straight up F.
Honey.
Minus. Should be an E.
You find out they cheated. You cheated on that test. Okay. Women the same way. I ain't just saying men. Women the same way. Honey.
Yes.
You be thinking she snatched to the heaven, snatched to the God in her Gucci dress and the tag sticking in the back. The girdle about to cut off.
Don't you talk about me and my girdle. Don't you talk about me and my girdle.
I wear one too.
Me too.
I wear one too. I ain't saying it's wrong. I'm just saying like we just need to be more vulnerable quicker. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. You know, with nowadays how they have everything so fixed. You know, like with women, it's making it harder. Well, women, we got to be so fixed and so well put together because of how social media is displaying, and the attention spans of the man is just getting shorter and shorter.
Ooh, so that right there just made me think of something. I know we had canceled H&M a couple of years ago. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but H&M has a new commercial on, and there's a lady on there. I don't know her nationality, but she's curvy, heavy set, and she is heavy set. Like all of her curves, she even has the gut and everything. And I was like, finally, they showed somebody that has the gut, and it, like, it's not to the T. Like that's the type of stuff I like to see. And I was so happy. And I said I was going to make a post about it, and I forgot. I just thought about it. But like even whenever Lord, my mind just went blank. When stores or whatever market their merchandise for plus size women, the plus size women have small bellies,
right?
Small waist,
honey,
and a big ass. And I be like,
she a size 8. They talking about she plus size. Ain't nobody got time.
I need a mannequin with a gut so I can know how that's gonna look on me.
That part,
right?
Part.
And that lady, she was running out that ocean. Everything was jiggling. I was like, yes.
I saw it too. I was just like, it's about time. It's about time. Represent for us big girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because big is in though. It's in.
It is.
It's in. It's in. So baby, it's our time to shine. Come on, thickness.
I'm about to see this gut all summer long.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna wrap my good up, but yeah.
Gonna be in the girdle, and then when I take that girdle off, it's gonna go bloop bloop. And you gonna be like,
silly, y'all silly.
But yeah, that's why I try to shop at places who actually, you know, celebrate the thicker women. Like a lot of a place I get, and y'all probably seen it on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but that I don't know how to say it, but it's Sheen.
Yeah.
And a lot of, well, I don't know, a lot of their Instagram posts, I ain't never heard it. A lot of their Instagram posts have big girls on it, guts, thick thighs, cellulite. It don't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Show me all of it.
You have some nice stuff too.
They do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I bought a couple. I've bought a good amount of items from them, and they great.
Yeah, they are. It's
and it's affordable. And it's affordable.
It's very much so.
I ain't gotta go to the hotel store and pay $124 for a top.
Well, I wish I would.
I
don't care how much money I got. I'm not paying that much for a shirt. I got asthma just thinking about it.
Not the way this potential life set up with what's going on with this world. Not doing it.
Oh man. Well, I think we have reached our time.
Oh my goodness. It was so good talking to you guys. You guys were very entertaining.
I enjoyed you, girl. You had brought a tear right here, and I was like, get it together. Don't let it come out.
After she done called me a crybaby on here. Okay.
I'm glad you was able to receive something.
Like we are not going to bring these tears out. We're going to keep them in. But I thoroughly enjoyed you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time to get on with us. For those who are listening, this is going to be available on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And we also are on most audio platforms, from Google to Apple, Spotify, iHeart. You name it. I can't
listen. Pandora.
I can't never think.
Go on Apple. Go on Apple and leave us some reviews. Give us some stars. I don't care if it's a 2-star. I don't care if it's a 3-star. Give us some stars. Y'all are getting on my nerves. I'm gonna start taking y'all phones and I'll be like chastityisthebomb.com, and y'all don't want that going all down Apple. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, something down too.
Okay.
Bye. Anywho, Regina, you can stay on, but we're gonna go off. So thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
And we'll link her stuff in the bio or whatever.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
We got you.